You're fired.
I was made a scapegoat for a mistake by a younger director and received notice of termination. Yet, the next day, when the chairman visited for an inspection with employees, he noticed something and asked the younger director,
Seems my son isn't here?
What?
the absence of the chairman's son, who was supposed to work in the company, would soon dramatically change the situation. My name is Mike Adams, a 45-year-old employee. Told by my father to learn about society, I joined the current company.
Mike, today, a younger employee is joining us, apparently the president's son, and will be appointed as a director.
Is that so? This was whispered to me by Alex, a friendly colleague, 2 years younger than me. According to him, the president's son was to be appointed as a director today. Moreover, he's younger than Alex, and I thought he must be quite a capable person to be a director. But the following happened after that young director Tom finished his self-introduction.
Your name?
Mike Adams.
Mike, I have a small favor to ask.
Suddenly, he spoke to me, and before I knew it, he was asking me to buy coffee. Coffee. You didn't know where to find it. There's a vending machine outside. I pointed out the vending machine outside the office. However, Tom shook his head.
I'm telling you to buy it for me. Giving such a plain response, just as you look. Should I spell it for you? I'm telling you to buy me a coffee.
I was pointed out for my plain appearance and asked again by Tom. Everyone around, including Alex, was astonished. Why should I go out of my way to buy your coffee?
Tom, we'll buy it. Please sit and wait.
Alex hurriedly interrupted me from arguing back. Hearing that, Tom smugly returned to his desk.
Let's hurry and buy it, Mike.
I couldn't understand his actions, but I went to buy Tom's coffee with him. Why did you say that? He could have gone himself. After buying Tom's coffee from the vending machine, I questioned Alex. He immediately started looking around, making sure no one was listening, then explained.
Tom is the president's son. We'll get into trouble if we don't comply.
Trouble?
I heard from others. If you get on his bad side, you're out. It actually happened in a department before. It seems like he reports directly to the president.
Alex's complexion wasn't good as he revealed this. I was shocked such things were tolerated. So, that's how it is. Alex, thank you for helping me and giving me advice.
No problem. It'll be tough, but let's keep working hard.
Alex's expression softened, and he seemed pleased with my gratitude. I felt reassured, knowing there were still employees like him in the company. But then, strange things began happening around me. My pen's gone. Returning from the restroom during lunch break, my pen, which should have been on my desk, was missing. I searched around, but couldn't find it anywhere. I didn't have a choice. In the end, I decided to use a spare pen I had stored in my drawer. Then, I started working with it. Initially, I thought I just misplaced my pen. But similar incidents occurred the next day too. Arriving at work, my desk calendar, which I had left on my desk, was gone. Strange. Alex, have you seen my calendar? My pen disappeared yesterday too. Asking Alex, who sat opposite me, elicited an overly dramatic reaction. He quickly said, I don't know, but something seemed off. All right. Let me know if you find it.
Understood.
Alex's awkward demeanor caught my attention, but I decided not to press further and return to work. Yet, the following days continued with more of my personal items vanishing. Eventually, I suspected someone was deliberately behind this, especially since Alex had been acting strange since the losses began. Alex, can I talk to you for a sec?
Yes, what is it, Mike?
Surprised by my sudden call, he jumped. His unusual reaction piqued my interest. It was as if he was scared of talking to me. How about we take a break together? I've got something I want to discuss. At break time, I invited him, and after ensuring no one was around, he agreed, of course. What's been going on? You've been acting differently lately.
That is,
In the break room, as I was about to inquire about his recent behavior, Alex hesitated and then suddenly confessed.
I'm sorry. I've been hiding your belongings. It was me.
I was shocked by his sudden admission. I had suspected, but to hear Alex had been the one was surprising. Why would you do something like that? It's unlike you.
Well, actually,
Then, Alex told me that Tom had ordered him to do so. He said he was threatened to be fired by the company if he didn't obey the order, as Tom would tattle to the president.
I have a family and a daughter. I was afraid of disappointing them if I get fired.
I see. I understand your situation. Don't worry, you won't get fired over something like this.
What?
Alex was surprised by my confident assurance. He had a face that seemed to ask, "How can you say that with such confidence?" That would be revealed a bit later. It was when Alex and I returned to the office from the break room.
Thank you for lending me these, Mike.
As Alex returned my belongings, Tom approached us.
What are you doing, Alex?
Predictably, Tom, who had given Alex the instructions, bit the bait, and I pretended to be puzzled. What do you mean? I'm just getting back the things I lent to Alex. Despite being threatened, Alex trusted me enough to muster the courage. Feeling, this can't go on, I deliberately drew out Tom. I thought he wouldn't stop unless we did this because his actions had been so negative.
Really, Alex? So you were lying when you said those items were yours. Quite the thief, then?
Thief? I've said, I lent them to him, and now I'm getting them back. Despite Tom's baseless accusation, I pointedly called him out. The grimace on his face indicated that my words had struck a nerve with him.
Don't be fooled by appearances. But out of the conversation between me and Alex, in case you didn't know, I'm the president's son. You know what happens if you lie, right?
Tom's attempt to intimidate me caused a stir among the nearby employees. Then, one employee hurriedly appeared before Tom.
Tom, what are you doing here? The meeting time has long passed.
Apparently, skipping an important meeting to be here, most employees were appalled by Tom's behavior. However, in this situation, Tom smirked mischievously, as if he had come up with a good idea.
I wasn't even aware there was a meeting. Seems like Mike failed to inform me.
Tom tried to pin his mistake on me, causing me to frown involuntarily. Maybe he deliberately made a mistake intending to blame me.
So, what are you going to do now? This meeting was to prepare for tomorrow's client visit. If I report to the top that you didn't inform me, Mike, it'll be your responsibility, and you'll be fired.
No, Mike.
Hearing Tom's words, as he said them with a loud laugh, Alex looked at me, his face filled with worry. But such concern was unnecessary. "It's okay, Alex," I assured the anxious Alex, and then fixed Tom with a sharp gaze. "Me, fired. Before that happens, I'll gracefully leave this company. So no need for that."
Is that so? Then you better leave the company quickly.
Tom smiled contentedly upon hearing my words. I returned to my desk to gather my things.
Mike,
Alex called out as I finished packing and was about to leave the office, but I left without looking back.
The office feels refreshed without that plain guy, right, Alex?
The next day, Tom, looking at my empty desk and smirking, greeted Alex, who didn't share the sentiment. Alex's expression remained downcast. He came to work, believing in the last words I said to him, only to find I wasn't there.
Well, let's prepare to welcome the client's chairman.
With the client's inspection about to start, Tom left to begin preparations with the president.
"Weren't you missing from yesterday's meeting? Did something happen with the employee who resigned?"
Well, he didn't inform me about the meeting time. So after giving him a termination notice yesterday, he left, saving me the trouble.
While waiting near the company entrance for the visiting chairman, Tom spoke to his father, the president. The president responded with a detached, "Is that so?" as if it concerned someone else. It seemed he wasn't much interested in anything beyond his own appraisal.
Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm looking forward to today.
"Thank you for visiting our company. Please, this way. Let me show you inside."
The president and Tom escorted the client's chairman into the company. As they concluded the inspection, while discussing future matters, the chairman asked,
By the way, I was expecting to see my son here. Have you seen him?
Your son?
Surprised by the sudden question from the client's chairman, Tom asked back,
What? He didn't even mention that to you?
Realizing from Tom's reaction, the client's chairman seemed resigned about his son not disclosing his identity. Then, tentatively, the president asked the client's chairman,
"Excuse me, but who is your son, if I may ask?"
Mike Adams. I was told he works in this department. But is he off today?
The client's chairman is actually my father. Tom, pale-faced, was unable to answer the chairman's question.
"Don't tell me the employee who resigned yesterday was."
The president, putting pieces together, looked towards Tom. Tom nodded tremulously, admitting the president's suspicion was correct. At that moment, the president's anger erupted.
"Idiot! Bring him back right now."
Bring him back? What are you saying now, Dad?
As Tom resisted, the president recalled my credentials he had heard from his father.
"The chairman's son, unlike you, graduated from Harvard and has served as an executive."
What?
You're well aware, aren't you? My son is my pride and joy.
Feeling as if he was being praised himself, the chairman let his face relax carefreely. The chairman might be a helicopter parent, Tom thought, but the president's shout snapped him back.
"Bring him back now, immediately."
All right, all right.
Scolded by the president, Tom, feeling reckless, pulled out his cell phone from his suit and moved away to call me. The chairman watched, clearly exasperated.
Is it really necessary to bring my son if he's off today?
No, It's best if your son also joins our discussion. Please, feel free to wait here.
The president hastily put on a smile, having kept the chairman and his staff waiting in the reception room until I arrived.
You got me scolded by the president because of you. I wasn't informed. You're the chairman's son. He's looking for you, so come to the company now.
Tom, sounding puzzled, called me on my phone. He had driven me to resign, and now this. I listened to Tom's words, but everything seemed to be going as planned. I knew my father was coming to inspect the company, so I had anticipated that Tom would find out who I really was, but it seemed like my father was still unaware that I had already resigned. Ready to push things further, I smirked, deciding to reveal everything myself. Understood. If my father's looking for me, I'll head over.
Don't you dare mention resigning or anything unnecessary.
Tom sounded desperate as he tried to pressure me, so I laughed mockingly. Well, let's see. It won't stay hidden forever, so I'm looking forward to discussing this with my father's involvement. Tom let out a frustrated sigh. After hanging up, I headed to the company where my father and the rest awaited. Arriving at the company and heading to the reception room, I saw my father, the president, and Tom.
Ah, there you are. Were you off today?
My father, oblivious to the situation, greeted me. I shook my head. I was ready to tell the truth. No, I wasn't off. I was unjustly given a termination notice by that director, so I felt compelled to resign. What? You were given a termination notice and resigned? My father and the president gasped in shock. And Tom turned pale. Ignoring the stricken Tom, I continued. He tried to pin his mistake on me. It's only logical. I couldn't possibly continue working under such a superior. With a sigh, the previously astonished president spoke up.
He said you forgot to inform him about yesterday's meeting. Was that a lie from my son?
Unfortunately, it seems you were misled by your son's words. Perhaps you should ask him directly. With a pressing smile, I made my point, causing the president to blanch. Turning to Tom, he raised his voice.
What is this, Tom? You lied to me too.
It's not a lie. I just forgot about the meeting.
Forgetting and then blaming the chairman's son for your mistake. That's a grave issue in itself.
Intending to make excuses, but digging his own grave instead. Classic Tom.
So, such things happened before my visit.
My father interjected, prompting the president to halt his scolding.
There's no need for further anger.
Chairman.
They thought the chairman was showing mercy. The president and Tom brightened up their expressions. But in the next moment, both were plunged into hell.
I'll be terminating our contract with your company. So be at ease. Farewell.
Chairman, I'm truly sorry. Regardless of not knowing about your son, what my son did, please reconsider.
As my father stood up and called out, "Let's go," the president hurriedly apologized and tried to persuade him to stay, but my father's mind was unchanged.
Even if I didn't know about my son, I can't continue a contract with a company that treats people so unfairly.
Hurriedly heading towards the door, my father, accompanied by his staff, was the first to leave the reception room. The president hastily followed after. I intended to take over my father's business eventually. Working here was just for social experience, so leaving the company just came a bit earlier than planned. Seeing Tom looking regretful, I couldn't help but gloat. Ah, but I doubt you and this company's future will be bright. If only you hadn't ordered Alex to take my belongings or tried to pin your mistake on me. What a shame.
Think you've won, huh? Doesn't matter if you're the chairman's son or we lose a contract, there are plenty of others.
You don't get it, do you? There aren't many companies with contracts as big as my father's company. Ever wonder why the president chased after the chairman so desperately not to lose the contract? Think hard with that poor brain of yours. When I couldn't help but express my astonishment, Tom flew into a rage. He seemed like someone who could only respond with anger. Well, I hope another big contract comes your way then. I'll take my leave now. Thank you for everything. I left the lounge, dodging the enraged him with insincere words. Unlike with the president, Tom didn't follow me, making me chuckle at the foreseeable future. Despite the president's efforts, the contract was terminated.
Really? He was so persistent, complaining about not wanting to lose the contract. If only he disciplined his son properly?
My father grumbled, sounding exhausted from reminiscing. Unlike Tom, the president could grasp the sense of crisis, so perhaps he has lost interest in his son.
It's your fault we lost the contract. Bring in another one.
Why do I have to suffer like this?
Tom lamented after being scolded by the president and thrown into sales. But the conversation in the lounge had been witnessed by employees, and rumors about the president and Tom spread to other companies.
Sorry, we're not interested. Please try elsewhere.
Leave and don't come back to our company.
Tom was met with rejection everywhere he went. Eventually, no company wants to contract with theirs.
What a mess.
Returning to the office without any sales success, Tom's failure caused unrest among the employees.
Maybe it's time to quit. This company seems doomed.
Indeed.
As whispers of resignation spread among the staff, Tom finally felt a sense of crisis. Then, to add insult to injury, someone approached him.
I'm resigning. Thank you for everything.
It was Alex, who handed in his resignation to Tom. Tom, taken aback, involuntarily accepted the resignation letter. Seeing Alex's resignation letter, he couldn't hide his anger.
What? Leaving the company in crisis? What are you thinking?
It doesn't matter what you think. I've already found another job.
Smiling, Alex, after delivering the double shock of resignation and job change to Tom, left the office feeling refreshed. Witnessing the entire scene, the employees become more agitated, realizing, indeed, I should also consider changing jobs. A week after Alex left, he started working at my father's company.
I've missed you, Mike. I was shocked to learn you're the chairman's son.
Sorry for surprising you. We got successfully reunited at my father's company. Alex shared this tearfully. In fact, after I resigned, I revealed my identity to Alex and invited him to work together at my father's company. I owed a lot to him from our time at the previous company. Leaving him at the old company would have risked his job. Indeed, the previous company we both worked at went bankrupt. Contracts were canceled one after another, and employees resigned en masse. The president had no choice but to declare bankruptcy, and Tom was blamed for the downfall. Having lived at home until now, Tom was kicked out and seems to be living alone in a shabby apartment. Rumors have spread within the same industry, so he's been turned down at interviews and now lives off part-time work in a restaurant. He's constantly scolded by younger part-timers there. I thought of dropping by with Alex to catch a glimpse of Tom's miserable face, if I feel like it. As for me, having gained sufficient social experience at the previous company, I was appointed vice president. Eventually, you'll take over for me. I'm counting on you to work even harder, my father said, hinting at the future responsibilities I would bear. Alex, having been just a fellow employee until recently, was full of confusion. Just treat me like you always do. I prefer it that way.
Really? It feels a bit presumptuous. But I'm grateful to you, Mike. You helped me at the previous company and introduced me to this one. Thank you.
Seeing Alex's beaming smile made me happy too. He said it allowed him to protect his family, but I reminded him that it was his achievement. Let's both keep up the good work.
Yes, of course.
And so, we embarked on a new beginning, striving forward every day